All right, in this book review, I'm going to cover The Power of Duck. I've been watching a few videos on the internet. Now, the videos are from this gentleman right here, Takao I'm sorry I'm butchering your name, dude. But this book is powerful. I'm Justin Hitt from Prosperity Homestead, and if you own 5 or more acres in a temperate climate, you can actually create duck impounds that attract wild ducks. But imagine having grains or rice, duck, and fish all in the same acreage. So if you have an acre paddock that's doing this, for example, and this works in climates, you'll see examples in Japan, China, you'll see examples in India. These are all temperate climates or proxy to temperate climates. But in my area, I get 44 inches of rain a year. So a duck impound not only provides habitat for the ducks, there are several wild grains that will grow in Virginia, but it provides an erosion control support system so that you can take that surface runoff and impound it, and then have the ducks in it, have the fish in it, have the rice in it, and get 3 different types of food. Can you see how easy food security becomes when you understand the stacking function of using space? So in the permaculture language, this would be an earthwork system that builds a basin, and that basin would be full of rice, fish, and ducks. Now, again, you might be saying, well, how do I do this? Well, that's why I'm reviewing this book, The Power of Duck, and there'll be a link below the subscription. I have no idea if it's an affiliate link or not. I don't really care. I'm not gonna, why should I care about getting a few cents? You like and subscribe if you find this useful, but affiliate commissions are really, I can go work and get more money. It's not about money though. It's about abundance. So The Power of Duck, and I'm going to try to show you some of the insight here. It's published by Tagari Press, which is the same folks who does the permaculture handbook. So you'll see an interesting set. What I love about this book, and I'll try to show you, is it is very easy to follow, but it has incredible illustrations. These illustrations make it so easy to understand what we're doing here. So you don't need an acre impound to get started. You can start with a 12 by 12 space, a few ducks, a few fish. Now, what they do recommend is there's a means to cycle into the planting. So the reason why you're doing this, by the way, is the ducks don't like the silica in the leaves of mature plants, and they don't like the silica in the leaves of rice specifically. So what happens is when you have a shallow amount of water, is these ducks will move around in the water and they'll eat the little tiny weeds because that's what they like, but they also eat slugs. They eat a lot of the water insects, and you start getting the soil moved around in the water because the ducks are flapping their little feet around underneath. And what this causes is the nutrient from the duck, so the duck is going to poop. Most animals, the food goes in one side and comes out the other. So the duck poops in the water, and then the duck moves that water around, which distributes nutrients, which your plants take up. And it actually, any of the seeds that will sprout, the ducks will eat the small plants, and you end up with less inputs. Now, traditional rice paddy, whether you're in the United States or the southern part of the United States, or you're in China, or you're in Japan, the traditional rice paddy, they flood the fields for pest control and to control weeds, but then they add all kinds of chemicals, or they have to use equipment. Well, what's amazing about this book, and of course the videos, I'll link to those videos below, is that this duck system at a homestead scale actually does all the work for you with animals that are edible. Okay, that's very important. These ducks will grow up to be food, and if you're doing a wildlife impound and these are wild ducks coming in, these could also be a little bit of food through hunting. But this book particular starts out with cultivated ducks as food. Now, you can eat the duck eggs, you can eat other things, but one thing that was very interesting here that you can do even if you don't have ducks is they showed the azolla. This particular plant I have in all my ponds. So if you've watched any of the videos about small-scale aquaculture, or you've come out to a class, you'll see this particular plant is everywhere because fish can eat it, chickens can eat it, ducks can eat it, and it also is nitrogen, absorbs the nitrogen. So when it breaks down, it's capturing nitrogen from the water, which is you have nitrates and different types of things that happen as a result of the waste of the fish or the animals in there. This particular plant, which floats on the water, will absorb those nutrients and take them out of the water, which helps you have better water quality. So even if you have a detention basin that is meant to catch rainwater, that detention basin could have the azolla growing on it. It could have a variety of other aquatic plants. So in this particular system, I wouldn't necessarily have ducks right out the gate, but I would have taro, I would have kangkong, I would have other edible aquatic plants in the system, lotus roots, for example, but also the native wild rices that are available for my area. Now, what I would do is I would seek to attract the wild ducks themselves, because ducks cost money and ducks require habitat, but a wild duck doesn't require anything, and they will serve the same function in your rice bed or your garden beds in particular. So you might be saying, well, Justin, do you have any experience in this? And how would you know this works? Well, yes, I have detention basins where I'm growing wild rice, and I have small aquatic systems that have marshes in them. So you can add, so again, you can scale this all the way down, but I basically have catfish in a tank, and the water circulates, and then the overflow of that goes into a bed that has willows. And those willows were basically propagating the willows out the base bed. But then that bed overflows into taro. So there's some, taro is a starchy vegetable with big wide leaves. The leaves can be used to wrap things when you cook. The starchy vegetable itself is actually pretty good. You make taro cake and different things. And then it overflows from there into a radish or lettuce bed. So we're cleaning the water as it overflows from the main fish system. So you could actually start using these techniques in smaller scale to get familiarization with how it works. So for example, the rice, I grew the rice just to propagate seed. I only got like a 50% rate. So whatever rice grew initially, only about half that rice resprouted. And there's a number of reasons for that. But ultimately, I am. I got this book because I want to extend my knowledge when it comes to how I'm handling the water flow and runoff on a particular piece of property, but also the possibility that we can have duck eggs, that we can have duck meat, that we can have fish in this, because it is a logical extension of any small aquaculture system. Now, if you've seen my other videos, I prefer systems that don't need electrical input, or they can use very minor solar systems. For example, I had a lot of struggles with getting a full-scale pump going on a cascading aquaculture system, because again, we only had one solar panel. My inverter was too weak. I had a 350 watt inverter when I needed a 750 watt inverter, and then I had extended the batteries. Now, I'm probably $600 into a system like that. It would be capable enough to run an acre, because again, the circulating water is reduced down to your duck habitat, and then overall, the ducks are a little bit more free range, and it allows them to go out into the field and feed themselves, as well as cultivate the rice and put nutrients into the water. Now, the azolla and the zooplankton or phytoplankton that is going to grow in the water, those are little tiny plants, microscopic plants, that actually eat the nitrates and the nitrites in the water and form that when you get water that's kind of pea soup green, that is usually full of phytoplanktons, or they're kind of like photovoltaic microplants, but fish eat that. And when the fish eat that, the fish breed. Those little baby fish get eaten by some of the ducks, but ultimately this book shows you how to create up breeding areas and isolate, for example, the ducks from the fish, so that you can start getting larger fish, because it turns out ducks don't eat big fish. Ducks only eat the little tiny fish. Ducks prefer the slugs and snails, and they prefer the small vegetation. And that is just a perfect combination. Now, what I love most about this book is how easily it is written and spelled out. The diagrams are just amazing. And this will be a teaching resource once we get a larger impound set up. Now, again, you can do your impounds for wildlife restoration. You can do your impounds for actual meat production, but you will save a tremendous amount of times. And yeah, there are. I get a little kick about it because there are little scientific graphs. Yeah, yeah. So you're going to have your age of your plant and the size of the plant, and then you're going to have your volumes associated with the age of the plant. But you want to start this kind of system small, because you're going to have to understand how many ducks can be in an acre of rice, or if you're manually putting the rice out, how many acres can you do of manually putting rice out. And then finally, if you're going to be draining the field to cultivate, do you have basins deep enough for the fish to go into when you start draining the field? You'll see this on a lot of YouTube videos, is they'll drain the field and there'll be fish everywhere on the ground. And usually this is done in the Philippines, and somebody's going to run out and they're going to pick up all these fish and put them in a basket. Those fish have actually been stressed, and because they are stressed, their meat is not as good. Now, it's good enough, but ultimately the meat is stressed. So how do you, and again, the power of duck covers these things. How do you build the basins out so that your fish during the drier seasons have plenty of water, and that they're not being harassed by the ducks themselves, who can do both dry land and wetland? Now, what this is not going to talk about, this book does not talk about, and really doesn't need to talk about, is mosquito management, the secondary biology that you want in a space like that, like you want dragonflies and you want frogs. And it's not going to talk about the harvest elements, because you don't have to use rice. You can be growing taro, you can be growing any kind of aquatic vegetable, and this system will work. In fact, you can even flood your, depends on your area, you can flood plants that are okay with wet roots on raised beds, and then have the ducks come through and really go after the slugs, the snails, and different things like that. But again, I highly recommend The Power of Duck by this gentleman right here. And if you search for this right here, there are some excellent support videos that I will link to in the bottom of the description when somebody gets around to writing the description, because The Power of Duck is powerful. Protein from duck meat, duck eggs, the possibility of protein from fish, and then of course your carbohydrates addressed by vegetables and rice itself. If you don't want to cultivate rice for your own harvesting and production, there are plenty of wildlife rices that are great for natural habitat, where you can basically just grow out. Now, one thing this book did not cover, if you're doing a wildlife impound, because this is specifically for people who want to raise the ducks for meat and eggs. If you're doing a wildlife impound, you can't just keep knocking down the rice and then reseeding the rice. You do need to harvest the rice, extract the seed, and then put appropriate amount of seed back into the basin, because rice will grow in abundance just like wheat or any other grain. If you get too much rice in a field, it won't leave the alleyways that are necessary for the ducks, but it also will eventually fill in your basin. So as vegetation grows in your water detention basin, that vegetation is going to die and turn into loam, and it's going to turn into like a wildlife, like a marsh. And then eventually that marsh will get deeper and deeper, and you won't have a basin anymore. So if you want to cultivate a system like this for a long period of time, you do have to harvest the rice. And if you're going to harvest it, you might as well process it. If you're going to process it, you might as well either sell some of the seed or use some of the seed on your property to extend the value of this. But again, if you're not really going to eat the ducks, then don't have a lot of ducks. If you're not really going to eat the eggs and things like that, because you're going to end up, this particular type of system will reach surplus quickly, very quickly. And then if you don't have a place for the surplus, and that's why we talk about, selling at the farmer's market or having a co-op, because if you don't have the place for the surplus becomes a burden, and basins will fill in, because these basins aren't very deep. It gives you all the numbers in here. And you won't have that benefit of the impounding of the rainwater or the runoff, and it'll go south. So start small, follow instructions in this particular book. It is hard to find, But again, there's also videos online, and we'll be holding some classes around this particular thing as we do some basin projects at some of the different farms that I'm working on. I'm Justin Hitt with Prosperity Homestead. This is an example of some of the insights you're going to get as a newsletter subscriber at www.prosperityhomestead.org/newsletter. And you want to join that newsletter there. You also want to like and subscribe below. Down here, there's some buttons somewhere. And in the description, when we get a chance, we're going to put a link to the book, and we'll put a link to other videos. But again, if you search for this dude right here, and I'm seeing it backwards on the screen, so I'm not going to even attempt to say the name again. You will find an abundance of videos to get you started, but I do highly recommend the book. Get this book back in print by buying as many copies as you can find. And I hope that if we get a class together, that we'll actually we'll buy these books in volume to provide for students. But again, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. I'm Justin Hitt, and I just did a review of The Power of Duck.